Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Froggy Stocks. Not that I say it's financial advice, entertainment purposes only. Doing a little morning show here because there's so much going on. Got to talk about the threshold list. We got to talk about Citadel, winding down a hedge fund, $1.6 trillion margin call in the UK in the energy sector. All kinds of craziness. Gonna open a space call, get some people in, talk about everything going on. Everybody's wanted a space call for a while now. Pretty early in the morning, but we're going to go ahead and get it going. Talk about all the ins and outs. Everybody's welcome. See what's going on. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple minutes. I'm going to tweet this out. Get everything going. Tweet. Oh, they changed the Twitter space call setup. Oh, my. Okay, get that up. See if we can get logged in on the top here. As you guys have seen, as of yesterday, it seems that Ape has come off the NYSE threshold list, which is super interesting. What's good? Just chilling, waiting for more people to enter the chat. Come up and speak if you want. Feel free. Oh, that account just turned into Soka. What's up, Soka? Just waiting for more people to jump in and just going to have a general conversation of everything going on. Going to space. Just waiting for more people to jump in and just going to have a general conversation of everything going on. Join the space. There we are. Omnila, what's up, brother? Just waiting for more people to jump in. Ooh. Good. Just taking care of a bunch of business, man.
I appreciate you. I follow you. I hear the tension in your voice.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, it's been crazy. The housing market here in Albuquerque is absolutely getting hammered. I'm talking foreclosures popping up every day and 25K price drops. It's insane.
That's okay. Bank of America's got a fix for it.
Bank of America is trying to entrap people who have never had a home loan in their life, and they're targeting immigrants specifically to put money on their balance sheet short term. They're going to end up absolutely screwing people. They're going to give out these loans to these homes that are overpriced at a bad interest rate. And then a year from now, when they foreclose and default, these people are going to be stuck with all this bad debt. And guess who's going to pay for it?
Yeah. Listen, I mean, I'm watching everything, even with. So real quick, come off still on IBKR, but it's not on the New York Stock Exchange threshold list.
Yeah. So that's the funny thing, because guess where IBKR gets their information to see what's on the threshold list?
So I don't know how that gets resolved.
That's
New York Stock Exchange.
That's the problem. We got to wait and see. Let me double check him.
Right.
It's not on there today, still for the 8th, but IBKR is still reporting it, which they get their info from the NYSE. But we all remember what the SEC did with the failure to deliver data, 2-3 months ago, where they didn't report it for like 3 days, or they misreported the previous month. But you don't have a security drop 30-40% in a week, instantly make threshold list, and then come off the threshold list without some kind of price discovery. So I'm thinking we're either going to see some type of pop today. What is today? Is today Friday?
It was a small pop this morning, but I mean, it has to be a substantial pop. It can't be small.
Yeah, it's got to be 20-30%. We got to take back what we lost from the day of launch on Ape, which we've been in a consistent since September 1st from $4.40. We've been in a very consistent uptrend, a beautiful uptrend with higher lows the entire time. So we've been like having upwards accumulation for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 business days now. And now we're coming off the threshold list. Maybe a 5 to 10% move that we had is not significant enough to come off the threshold list. The only concern I have is this one pop on September 2nd we had where we ran 20, 30% and then came back down and started accumulating back up. They might have covered just enough to get us off the list temporarily, because that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days as of this morning where they could have covered a bunch of failures and then covered a bunch of failures just to stay consistent for 5 days to get us off the list. Every time I start doing a space call, my dog's got to drink an entire bowl of water. But we all see what's going on. It's absolutely crazy right now. That's why I wanted to host a call, because there's so much stuff going on. The $1.6 trillion margin call in the energy sector in the UK. Citadel's back in the news again. Oh, we lost Omni. You guys all seen the documents of Citadel supposedly winding down a fund, which then Tony DeNaro came out and said it was probably more likely voluntarily to reorganize. But we all know what happens when these big funds reorganize. Melvin was going to reorganize. They were going to close down and put their money into something else, a new fund. Citadel's reorganizing because they got to get all the bad debt off their books from that margin call. So they're going to try to dump all this stuff into a new fund. And the entire thing with Ken Griffin moving to Miami and dumping $100 million into a house, Miami, Florida specifically, has special asset protection laws. He knows what he's doing. They're in deep shit. You don't lose $92 billion in a quarter and have $65 billion in securities sold, not yet purchased, and have your buddies come out and say that you make money on every month. It's just insane. So
I'll see what happens. I'm getting a lot of shares at this price, so hopefully it pays off down the line.
Yeah, I've been buying the whole time, man. When we dropped down into that sub $5 range, I dumped a bunch of money into it. So
I want to buy some HYMC, SMAMC. I just haven't a chance to.
I'm picking away at it. I've got all my money locked up, of course, into APE and AMC. But I'm picking away at Highcroft. I'm just buying shares every now and then whenever I get a chance, because I know 2023 is going to be a really good year for Highcroft. Fucking AMC too.
Yeah, I think they're all good plays.
Yep.
Or investments, I guess.
Yeah, Diane Garrett's a boss, man. She knows what she's doing. Highcroft started coming under attack around the same time the APE dividend came out. I'm not surprised that they slapped it down as hard as they did. They're trying to do everything they can to make anything for AMC look bad. It's all mental, man. Yeah, anybody else, if you guys want to come up and talk, we're just chilling. If you could, please tweet out the call.
Soika, you should pop up, man. He always has some good information.
Yeah, Soka's the space call master lately, man. He's been running the show.
I know. He gets on. He sounds like Leonidas, just kind of just giving his speeches.
Yeah. Well, I mean, man, he's right there in Chicago, I think. They got that AMC right next door, and shit, they're probably not even that far away from the Citadel building. I'm sure it's been hitting close to home for them. I keep trying to get my buddy who's on the Chicago Fire as an EMT. I keep trying to get him to take their crew down to the AMC theater to see Top Gun before it's out. But they're so busy doing EMT things and fire.
The only thing I
things.
feel bad about is, this is a truthful moment. I really don't go to the movies. I got in this initially as a play, but I like the idea of investing. So all my funds go to DRS, AMC shares, purchased E-Trade, because I can still purchase APE on E-Trade. I can't, I guess you can't do it on Computer Share and HYMC. So I don't go to the movies. I just keep buying shares and holding on.
Yeah, the whole thing about them not selling it on computer share, basically, they were saying, well, AMC never really told us we could or authorized us whatever. But I think the problem is there's not actually any shares that they can sell. I think.
Oh yeah, I'm not worried.
I think the brokers, you got to remember, computer share goes to the brokers to buy the shares for you and then put them in book form. So if I'm a broker owned by Citadel or owned by Susquehanna, the last thing I want when there's no ape shares available on the open market is for computer share to be buying them from me and direct registering them so there's even less shares. So I'm not surprised.
You know, I have a question. I'm reading this book, Technical Analysis of Financial Markets. I'm trying to get better versed in everything that's going on. Obviously, it's difficult. I know technical analysis doesn't completely play into these particular plays, but I still want to know, because hopefully after this is over, you know, the markets make more sense and technical analysis will kind of go back to the standard, you know, across the board. But in terms of AMC, HYMC, and even, you know, GME and When Ape, the way that I wasn't sure if it's possible to not get sent to the dark pool if you don't make odd lot purchases. So if it's always 100 or more, does that mean it has to go to lit exchange? It's only odd lots that they consider retail, or are they able to distinguish retail even if it's not, you know, an odd lot amount based on, I don't know, some other kind of filter?
Yeah, they know exactly what's retail and what's not. But if you don't want your shares, you don't want your trades going to the dark pool. One, get with a broker that's non-PFOF like Fidelity. Two, when you place your order, you got to place it direct lit exchange, and especially you want to do IEX. We all saw that Citadel lost that lawsuit with IEX, but you have to place it as a limit order, fill or kill. The reason
I've done that, and that's what I was following. I was just wondering because I do E-Trade and I've set it for IEX, but I was wondering if, you know, a lot of people are buying, you know, they're buying out a lot trades. So even if they do IEX, do those still get pulled up because they're like, I wasn't sure if it's a good recommendation to say, listen, if you need to buy in lots of 100 or more. If
you don't do fill or kill, then they can break your order up and send it dark pool, even if you try to direct it lit exchange.
Okay, that's good to know.
And here's one of the biggest problems that I've been trying to bring up to the community for a time, and people just really aren't catching on to it. If you have fractional shares of APE, you need to round them up to a whole share. Because what they're doing, or AMC too, what they're doing is your broker will hold that actual share, give you, like, say me, you, Soka, and AMC up at the top, I'll have a quarter of a share of AMC. The broker actually holds that share any way they want, the full physical share. They give us the fractional IOU. So they can go out and loan that share out behind our backs with no consequence. People should round up their positions on AMC and APE.
Who's buying fractional shares of APE? I mean, it's like under $5. It doesn't seem
people
like I
got
understand.
People got them distributed. If you have fractional shares of AMC on, I think, Public or Robinhood or I think even, I don't know if it was E-Trade, certain brokers gave you fractional shares of APE. Other brokers who did it correctly gave you, if you had a fractional share of AMC, they just paid you out cash in lieu of that fractional share. But I think they're using fractional shares to make a pool of full shares that nobody really owns, that the brokers have their hands on, that they can loan out. I think fractional shares is one of the biggest problems in the community. And all you really got to do is go out and buy a fraction of a share of AMC or APE and round up your lot so that you own the full share.
Yeah, I think there needs to be a refresh on all the things that they should be, you know, everyone should be doing when they do make purchases. Because, you know, like before, it was just going in, I'd buy 1, 2, 10, and then I learned about odd lot. So I made sure I only ordered one. Then it was about routing IEX. You know, there's a lot of things I think people are thinking, hey, just buy and hold. But I think they need more distinct or detailed instructions on if you're going to buy. I mean, even if you're direct registering, you know, they need those steps reminded because people don't really remember details at their short period of time.
Yeah, I put out a YouTube video on the basics of it just a couple weeks ago, and I pinned a tweet to the top, and there's a lot of new apes in the community. And I got a funny story. I went to the dentist yesterday, and they're talking about pulling one of my wisdom teeth, and the dude said, "Are you going to be able to be off work for a while or whatever?" I said, "Yeah, I just do stock stuff anyways." And the lady come running in the room and goes, "Oh, you do stock market stuff? Oh man, I got into AMC and a while ago and my kid told me to get in." It turns out their whole freaking office is a bunch of apes. They're not on Twitter, so they didn't know about anything that was going on lately. So I spent like 20 minutes in there explaining everything that we're going through right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there who are just, I mean, and there's also people there who don't think it's legitimate. And, I'm interested to see if there's enough of us who are holding the stock that'll do what it needs to do. But I mean, obviously, you're seeing things fall in place little by little, so I'm not really worried.
Well, think of this. My mom's not on Twitter. She holds AMC. My sister's not on Twitter. She holds AMC. All 4 of the people at that dentist office hold AMC. That's 6 people in my immediate circle of my life. And I really don't converse with that many people IRL. I don't bother with it. That's 6 people out of 20 that I talk to normally that all hold AMC. Now spread that out over the entire community. I think there is a absolute shit ton of people holding AMC beyond what even we know about.
No, I think so. I mean, it just seems like with this much awareness and this large of a movement, you would think this would have been resolved by now. I mean, the fact they're dragging it out, I'm still shocked. Like even raising the price up a little bit, because I'm sure if they went to $100 or $200, you get a ton of people who would probably drop out and not even wait for it to go higher than that. I still believe that.
Dude, these big hedge fund guys and these banks and these market makers and these Congress people, they are absolutely going to they will hold on to the rope until their fingernails are falling off before they lose all their money. Like, I'm not surprised at all that this is being drug out. I do think Adam Aron is getting ready to make some pretty aggressive tweets, though. This failure to deliver stuff, when we see the second half of August data, which you guys all know is like 2 weeks behind in reporting with the SEC, I think people are going to be very, very pissed off when you see the amount of failure to delivers there were for both securities.
I would expect them to say something about the threshold list, unless there's something that happens today at 9:30 or at the end of the day. But
here's the thing: the threshold list, once you maintain 5 days of deliveries, you actually deliver your shares for 5 days, which is interesting because we hit the threshold list after 5 days of ape going straight down. And then on September 1st, we started our trend back up, our reversal. But on the 2nd, we had a 23 to 25% price move to 570. So that very much could have been them covering some of the FTDs, just enough to get them off the threshold list. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. Today is 5 days later. We're not on the list anymore. So they may have covered just enough to get us off the list before we hit those 13 days. I have a feeling you're going to see more massive FTDs piling up here pretty soon. But the last 5 days, we've been in nothing but a perfect uptrend with higher lows, and we're still following that trend. So, and even the big YouTuber guys, Trey, a couple other fellas, they were saying today is looking really good. And so far today, everything pre-market's looking awesome. My cores, I did one unusual whales call just to try it out finally. And cores is up 10-15% this morning. Somebody's getting margin called because across the market, there's a lot of stocks going green. So
what was the you were saying that the Citadel liquidation in the UK is not actually liquidation, it's voluntarily closing?
So Tony DeNaro was saying that he found some documents showing that Citadel may have started voluntarily winding down a fund back in June, but they usually only do that if their balance sheet is so disgusting that there's no way to show their investors they're doing good. You got to think, Citadel reported an annual of $65 billion short, not yet purchased. Then they had a $92 billion quarterly loss. Then we see these documents come out saying they're winding down a fund to load it back into a new fund after he leaves Chicago, Illinois for Florida. The dude is, I don't care what anybody says, Citadel is so underwater, it's not even funny. They installed their gates to their investors saying you could only withdraw like 5.5% a quarter annually. And if you did start withdrawing, you could never invest with them again. They did this same thing back in 2008. They started winding down certain funds, opening new ones, and selling off assets. Like after he took back $500 million from Melvin right before they just went out of business or supposedly went out of business, they sold off $2.2 billion in a stake in Citadel to say they were going to use it to open their new crypto branch. So the dude's liquidating. He's moving to states that have better asset protections. Their balance sheet looks like absolute garbage. And you don't take a $92 billion quarterly loss and turn around and say, oh, yeah, we made money. It's just, that's insane.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. You know, it's the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'll tell you right now, it's not looking good for them. I mean, everybody said the same thing about Melvin, too, right before they collapsed.
Yeah, and Melvin hasn't closed out their position either yet, right?
I don't know. That's the problem. They said they were going to shut down, close their position, but we'll never truly know. Citadel might still be floating them, keeping them like, hey, you guys stay here. Gabe, I'll pay you, $1 million a year to keep this open so we can use you as a scapegoat later. I mean, who knows? It's Ken Griffin himself, literally months before Melvin went out of business, said Gabe Plotkin was the best investor of his generation. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't keep bluffing with no cards in your hand. But I'm trying to think what else is going on.
Soika, why don't you talk, man? You always have something good to add. Instead of putting up your emojis, man, say something.
He's probably like, motherfuckers, I talk nonstop all day. He's probably just enjoying it being in a passenger seat for once.
Nah, he said after this is over, this will be his company. So it's his choice to step up. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yo, man, I'm pumped, dude. I'm just fucking like, I literally just woke up. This is I got to get ready for work. So I'm like sitting here. I laid in bed. I'm like, these guys, Spence always has good shit too. I don't know what you mean that I have to come up and talk. Spence fucking kills it on DD. I mean, the two of us.
No, both of you guys are good. I don't have any DD, so you bouncing off each other. I could step back and listen.
I see what you're saying. No, I mean, dude, I honestly, I share a lot of the same sentiment as Spence on a lot of things. When it comes to I am so pumped. I bought a fuck ton of like $1 calls for HYMC in 2014 and a shitload of shares. I don't give a fuck if it goes to zero. I'm buying that company when we MOAS. Like, you would not believe. That's, to me, there's so many assets under the ground. The company's worth $270 million or something like that with its float. It's like complete nonsense.
That's a good idea to buy calls that far out. I didn't even think of that. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing Monday, bro.
Spence, when it went to 68 cents, it was $30 for a $1 call in 2024. I'm like, oh, I can't pass this up.
That's what I'm going to do Monday. That's a freaking great idea.
Yeah, the premium on it was like, okay, like, so I buy 30 shares, and if it goes to $1, I get the extra 70. There was an insane sale on them. I was asking someone who was in options, like, yeah, you have a really weird spread. It was like a 50-cent spread on like HYMC 2014 calls for 50 cents. So it was like something like it was like 50 cents for a 50-cent call, or 45 cents for a 50-cent call, or something like that. And then it was like 30 cents for $1 call. I was like, what the fuck? How does that work? And I guess that's because it's on a downward, like a decline, and there's no interest in the options. So people aren't buying them. It was like two bids on the day at, like, you know what I'm saying, for an option. So I was like, all right, I'll just start buying them. Fuck it.
That's a phenomenal
But
idea.
I know that.
And it's not that far away from in the money either. So say Highcroft, by next year, they come out with good core samples, which they probably will, and they start mining again, getting Croft goes to $2-3.
Yep.
You're sitting on a beautiful option right there.
Yes, sir. That's the only thing I can think of is that once you see the core samples for the new dig sites, you're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. You have way more assets than you did before. How is the value of the company not doubling or tripling? Because the whole mine, the value of the mine is 100% based on what's in the ground now. It's not based on any mining. So how do you take the value of what's in the ground now and then multiply that by what's in the future and not get a significantly higher number?
Here's what one of the probably the thing that's going to end up happening. The setup, the infrastructure of Highcroft, the vehicles, the trucks, the mining equipment, the mill that they now have on site, they used to have to take their material off site to process, which is super costly. Diane Garrett is a champion at setting up companies to be bought out. I would not doubt if somebody came in and offered a major buyout of Highcroft mine in 2023. And if they do, the stock's going to go through the roof.
Oh, absolutely, man. Absolutely. If there's a buyout, even just a buyout offer, they were a $13 stock a year ago, 2 years ago or something like that in 2020. And then they came crashing down because, again, the price of gold and silver is extremely expensive to mine when you're not making that much money off of it. When you can't pull it out of the ground and make what it's actually worth, when they're spoofing the prices, you're not actually getting the real price discovery on gold and silver either. So all we have to do is wait for that bubble to burst, and the price can rise. There's so many catalysts for gold and silver coming up in the next year or two.
Oh yeah.
I can't sit on an opportunity like that. I mean, I've been accumulating shares more slowly than I have in APE and AMC, but I made one massive purchase, and I was like, all right, I've made my big nest egg over there. Like, if that thing rockets, I'm good.
I think people are forgetting,
I wish I bought more
that
68 cents.
People are forgetting that, like I said, Highcroft used to take their material off site to be milled, which is super costly. Their infrastructure now allows them to contract out to every other mine in the area that might not have milling this rate for you. So they're setting up like a beacon of mining infrastructure in the middle of Nevada, right off of the major highway that runs to the Tesla factory too. So every mining company, there's like 2 or 3 new ones trying to set up too that are exploratory that don't even have any land. They have the ability to lease so much of their land and make consistent cash. It's just wild. So
yeah, the big question is what are they going to find and what are they looking to explore in the core samples? It can't just be gold and silver. There has to be other minerals that are attractive. There has to, I know Sprott was talking about, he had 2 drills. There's a company, I think it was Market Watch, that keeps pumping some bullshit into my junk mail. And it's like Eric Sprott just finished his lithium mine drill, whatever. And I'm like, why the fuck does that keep popping up? But it's because I constantly search Eric Sprott and HYMC and looking for the core samples and all that stuff and just doing small tiny bits of research on the land. And you're like, okay, so Eric Sprott's just going to pop up every single fucking week about how he's trying to drill lithium, and no one's making that connection really out there that, like, there may be other things on the site that we're going to start looking for. Like, remember what you said about, 3 months ago, about, hey, Diane Garrett had a whole bunch of trash that she went digging through and found a whole bunch of silver that she's using now out of the reserves, out of the garbage, basically, just piles of dirt.
Well, it was what they were classified as waste material because Highcroft back in the day, whatever it was called prior to Diane Garrett taking over, they were only looking for cyanide soluble gold. They weren't even looking for physical, like full nugget, like sized gold. So they were only processing that soluble stuff. So everything they classified as waste dirt has to be ran back through. And if you watch any mining shows on TV, and I know it's probably people are like, oh yeah, here we go, mining shows. They always rerun old mining waste material, and they end up finding a lot of gold as processing becomes more efficient. But like what you were saying with Sprott, man, I love that people are talking lithium. I think that could be definitely a thing. But what people are missing, Sprott holds one of the largest physical uranium trusts in the world. They're huge on uranium. And all we've heard about lately, even from Musk, is saying we need more nuclear power. There's going to be a nuclear power push in the next 5 years due to this renewable energy rolling blackout problem. If you look at the geological surveys of Nevada, there is massive uranium deposits around Hycroft Mine. One of the processes that the POX processor, one of the things it can refine is uranium. So I'm not going to see Hycroft become a big uranium provider, which is going to be in super high demand in the next 10. It already is now. I mean, there's a uranium shortage as well. So let's see, what's his world's largest physical uranium fund? And he launched it in 2021, right? July 2021, they launched this fund. And then not even how many months later, he bought into Hycroft in 2022. That's a pretty simplistic sign that uranium is going to be a big deal. What is the cost of uranium per pound? Uranium per pound cost. Let's see. Spot price per pound. It's done nothing but go up over let's see, this is a 5-year from 2018. Uranium prices have done nothing but go up and spiked at an all-time high in March of 2022. Is this per pound or is it per ounce? Uranium is not traded on the open market. Buyers. Doesn't say what the weight is on this, but I'm guessing it's per pound. $58 on the spot price.
Honestly, actually, that might be per ounce. Honestly, a small bit of uranium is super expensive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you look at someone when they put you ever watch like a movie and they're like, "This is uranium," dude. You can have a little tiny amount of that, and it's fucking super expensive, like a fucking spoonful.
It is per ounce. It's $48 per ounce.
Yeah, that's insanely expensive. So if you think about hitting the peak level of uranium, he knows. Again, we're not dealing with like an amateur here. Sprott's he's the kingmaker, dude. That guy's gonna fucking go and get his uranium because he knows. Oh, you guys don't want to let my gold and silver run? Here's something you can't afford to let be cheap, because if I'm in control of the supply, it's going to be expensive as hell on you. You can't mess with something if you need it to run your energy systems.
I'm telling you, this nuclear power push that's coming is going to be big. It's the only reliable source of energy we can have with consistency, with the least amount of waste. And with Musk talking about it, the industry uranium shortages, Hycroft, literally, let me pull up the survey and see if I can identify uranium logical survey Nevada. But yeah, I mean, Sprott's right on their website that you can see them pushing uranium, radioactive deposits in Nevada. You can go right to the .gov websites and check this stuff out. Let me find a map. But Hycroft has pretty high deposits. I mean, they just have it in color coding with density. So, and it's funny too. As soon as they set up that POX of the chemical consumable use, and you get more out of it. You get silver, gold, uranium, and other types of materials all at once. So the POX processing is what a lot of Russian mines use. Which, did you see the news on the Russian and China gold deal that they're making?
Oh yeah, it's gonna be all. No, actually, I saw a gas that they were paying in Chinese yen to purchase anything from Russia. They were getting away from any American money.
They're doing it with gold too.
That does not shock me.
Yep.
I mean, put it this way, man. We've been on two sides of a story, but we have two sides of a story, but we've only been getting one here in America, and that's that the American dollar is super strong. We would never defraud people in our markets, and now that the American dollar is actually exploding upward for some reason, because obviously it does that during deflationary times or inflationary times, and when other companies need buying power, they look to the American dollar, which is like, you know, the real placeholder for currencies. So it's the strength of the American dollar gets a buff from weak times around the world, which is just fucking absolutely crazy at times, considering how much we printed of this shit. But at the same time, you look at China and you say, well, why are they so pissed at the U.S.? Well, dude, you've been printing money like you wouldn't believe and been telling them not to do it for fucking 20 years. And now you have markets that are fucking seemingly rigged over here in America. And people can't make money in the American market anymore because you just keep fucking shorting the shit out of companies, destroying any possibility of a fucking run-up that doesn't benefit the person in charge, which is the market maker and the fucking hedge funds. So it's insane what we're going.
That's a good point. And did you guys catch the Interactive Brokers interview that people were posting yesterday?
I don't think so.
I think New York Angelo on YouTube posted an interview with one of the Interactive Brokers top guys where he basically said, nobody is selling anything. There's no natural selling pressure on these stocks, which was a really important statement to make, considering that not even a day later, we have Interactive Brokers still showing ape on threshold, even though the NYSE isn't. But he basically said, he goes, if there's no natural selling pressure, why is everything so suppressed? It's a really good interview. I highly recommend everybody watches it today. I'll post it.
Oh, great. Thanks.
You know, I catch New York Angelo at times, and I'm like,
okay,
he
guys,
says a lot of
what you're about
else
to
is
see,
saying, and I don't know if I can actually trust him as like a frontline source. But then there's times when he just has something that's completely different than people, you know. So that's probably one of the few times I'll actually say that I have heard that New York Angelo is breaking the story.
Yeah, you guys definitely want to watch. He goes through, he introduces himself on this one, but then the important part is the International Brokers interview. It's a good watch, because I honestly, I don't go to YouTube and watch many videos. That's not what I do. I just go and I read stuff. But I got this sent to me by somebody that does a lot of DD, and he said, man, you need to watch this interview. Really important interview with IBKR. All right, there we go. I'll pin it to the top. People can go check it out.
It's looking like we might break 9 today on AMC.
They're in a lot of trouble if this thing fucking moves above 9 and 8 moves above 6. That's where the majority of these real short-term, close out of the money, like maybe month or 2 month options were. But
I thought you can't do options on APE anyway.
Well, you can't, but there was a ton bought before August 22nd. So a ton of people started buying options, including a bunch of hedge funds. There was a hedge fund who bought like 100,000 calls out of the money, like deep out of the money. We're talking about like $45. You know, they were buying calls like you wouldn't believe, and I had no idea why they were buying them because they're out of the money. So, you know, people were at the time. Someone was like, "Someone does something." I'm like, "Do they?" I mean, maybe. You know.
Well, looks like we'll break 9 on AMC possibly in the next couple of minutes if we're lucky.
Beautiful.
She's popping. There's been so much crazy traffic this morning. BBIG ran like 12% on a massive. The MACD on the 5-minute blew through the freaking roof with the RSI on a candle that shot straight up to 97, 98 cents on a volume of 1. So something's happening this morning. Somebody got margin called, and we're going to start seeing money roll back into these plays. Even Highcroft's up 3%. Ape and AMC running up together finally, both being green on the same day, is a really good sign. But I'm telling you, man, go to the 5-minute, zoom out to where you can see September 1st through today, and you'll see the upward trend I'm talking about. It's been an absolutely perfect upward trend with consistent higher lows and breakout patterns. So I think today's going to be a good day.
Well, AMC broke 9, but Slick, I think you said something about I think you posted, you can't let Ape get above AMC, right? And that's probably why.
Well, I mean,
maybe they're trying to leave pressure.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, man. If Ape flips on AMC, the buying pressure on Ape will start to increase because someone will ring the dinner bell for all the freaking sharks out there. You know, there's going to be people who are going to understand that it's a preferred equity and that they can't FTD it soon. Remember, it's just a baby. It's a baby ape. It's been out for 3 weeks, 2 weeks at most. It hasn't even been it's not even in people's accounts yet in Germany and in certain parts of the world, right? So when you start to think of like all of the intelligence around here, people know that there's no options chain that are like in this room. But a lot of people in this room even don't know how the options chain was used to hide FTDs in AMC. They didn't know that it was, a T+2 process, a T+35 process, and then a T+35 process that went into a hide the money in the money put option process. A lot of people didn't understand how that worked. Still don't. And when they start to realize you cannot fail to deliver like that in this stock and then hide it in an option, that's when this thing will start to move, because there is no T35. And then, oh man, some people started to cover their failed delivers and some people didn't. No. Once you start to fail to deliver, once AMC and Ape start to run up and people start exercising those AMC 1 options that they bought a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, for January, the leaps start coming into play for next year, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Because remember, we were at $8. We were at $8.90 on AMC. Some fucking asshole out there bought, like a genius, bought 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, $20 calls on AMC, and they're all now AMC 1 options. And they can't hide the failed to delivers on the AMC 1 options when they go to exercise them.
Interesting. Well, I gotta get ready for work, but I'll be listening, guys. Keep it going.
That's a massive bomb that's gonna blow up in someone's face.
I'm out of Capri Suns, damn it. I got to drink a bubbly instead.
Bro, I am out of everything in my fridge. I live like a freaking eat loser. Like if people came to my house, like, dude, why is this? What year is this from?
I live pretty conservative on my groceries. I mean, I have some rice and stuff in case there's like weather emergencies. I can't go to the store, but I basically just go buy what I need like every other day. I don't stock up. Food goes bad so quick these days. It's just crazy. Bro,
being a bachelor, dude, like people are like, oh my God, you never have groceries. It's like, yeah, that's because if I buy like 7 bananas and a shitload of fruit, I'd have to eat like 2 bananas a day before they went bad. I'd have to eat like 17 fucking apples. What's the point?
I'm to the point now where it's just when my kid's here, I cook really, really good dinners, right? Like really delicious stuff. But if it's just me, man, I just open up a pack of like flavored tuna and eat it and get my protein and I'm good.
Dude, that's It's like, I'm just going to penny pinch tonight. Like, I fucking didn't even eat last night. I was like, fuck it. I don't need to fucking gain weight. You know, I went to the gym, came home, got in fucking bed and was like, well, I'm really fucking hungry, but I'm not going to fucking eat because I'd rather not order some shit because fuck it. I'm going to go buy some more shit tomorrow.
That's why I quit doing space calls for a while, man, because I had to reprogram my brain to get my fat ass back in the gym. Because I'll tell you what, past 7 months, man, I put on some weight and I was like, this is not acceptable. So I started getting back in the gym and
hell yeah, dude. Plus, Spence, man, you're gonna be fucking like killing it after this, bro. Like if this thing moass is like we think it's gonna, you're gonna want to fucking climb some fucking mountains and do some fucking touring of the world, you know, soaking the views.
People are gonna be like, where did everybody go? Why is there no space calls? Because we're freaking rich, man. I don't want to talk to everybody once I'm rich. I don't want to get sued for some stupid shit. I want to go save puppies in Brazil or something.
Right. Yeah, no, I'll start up a shelter somewhere, and my head's gonna go in the sand. I mean, I'll always hold space calls, but it won't be like, you know, it won't be like it was. And I will be like, hey, man, I'm here. I'm still coming back to AMC. I still think this has massive growth potential from a production side. Growth potential. If the retail base, even half of the retail base comes back, you have one of the most powerful cash raising movements of the 21st century. Because think about it, you get some passive income, you get some houses, you get some rental properties and some dividend stocks that you like, and then all of a sudden you're like, god damn, like I really don't have to work that much, you know what I'm saying? And you get this surplus of money, but what are you going to buy with it? You're like, oh, I could buy more stocks, sure, but what's the best stock to buy? The best stock to buy is still AMC. It's owned by fucking retail. So if we all come back in and buy it, and then we raise capital, you know, we could raise another $2 billion, start a production company. We could raise another $2 billion and revamp our every kitchen in AMC and have a literal, like, not just like popcorn and frozen pizza, like style, like stuff. We can get like the hamburger menus and like blow people away with actual gourmet food. And that is like a killer when it comes to specific companies. Like where I come from, there's a place called Marcus Theaters. They probably own like 3% of all movie theaters in the world, but they're never going to go out of business because the food that they have there and everything is a recliner. Every screen is amazing, and everything is like top-notch food, real thick, fries, hamburgers on like freaking pretzel buns. Like everything is you're going to some fancy restaurant for food. So, you know, I mean, we could do that at our top end facilities, the ones in LA, New York, Chicago, Miami, wherever that those major cities are, to get people to say, hey, like, I don't mind having dinner and a movie at this theater.
You know, the most interesting thing is, and people just aren't getting the importance of popcorn being sold in grocery stores yet. AMC's brand name, we all have created AMC to be one of the biggest brand names trending in the world. Everybody knows now, well, I want to go. 2019, you didn't give a shit what theater you went to. Or 2018, whatever. You just went to a theater, right? The closest one, the nicest one, whatever. People now want to go to AMC. The brand name on the shelf, people are going to go, oh, AMC, I've been hearing about that for 2 years. They're going to buy that popcorn. You now have popcorn revenues coming in, say, conservatively $300 million annually, which is definitely possible. We had 1.5 million people attend AMC theaters on Cinema Day. Imagine how hard that credit card is going to slap when our customer base of hundreds of millions of people, say even 1% of that, 150 million people, 1% decide to get a credit card. That's $175 annually a year in profit for AMC per active account. That's billions. So now you got a company, Adam Aron comes out, ape runs, say $8 to $10, whatever. It's just theoretically $10. Adam Aron decides to sell 100 million shares, pays off some of the more toxic debt, doesn't have to pay it all off, Just pay off the super toxic high interest shit, which really makes AMC's balance sheet awesome quarter to quarter, because you're now not paying $150 to $200 million in interest, maybe annually, right? So paying off the super toxic high interest debt, or the debt that is restrictive because of covenants, you're going to see a fundamental increase in AMC value. But he can keep flipping that. We can convert shares back to AMC from APE, and he can come out and do another offering. Retail can buy it up. You own more APE. You have the same voting rights. APE goes back up in price. It's just like this perfect circle of ability to raise money. On top of that, with the new revenue streams coming in, eventually they could, if they wanted to, be debt free. Even though I don't think he'll ever go totally debt free. Sometimes some of the debt is good to own. There's some debt they have that's under 5%. I would rather he kept cash on the books than pay down the 5% or 2% debts, because he can make 20% off the cash he has on hand. But what's up, Don? Don Fredo?
Hey, what's up, Spence? No, thanks for posting that up, man. I just watched that video. It's a great video, bro. I'm actually following the guy now. But yeah, the fact that he said this, I read an article Barron's posted yesterday. Pretty much the guy Ben Levias and something like that kind of was bashing to AMC, talking about how bad it's been since the birth of Ape. And the last statement he made was, "It's unclear what's driving the price down," which is bullshit. Just watching that video, so we know what it is, right? Mm-hmm. It's dark pool and shorting, right? They route all the buy orders through the dark pool and take all the short orders and place it into the lit exchange. Rinse and repeat, and that's how you get the price manipulation. And it's also why we don't have price discovery. It's not retail not selling is why we can't find price discovery. It's because everything retail is sending out is being through dark pool.
Well, that's why we have the radical 30% pops randomly, like we did back on March 31st, where we ran to $34.
Yeah, they gotta
have
let
to
it
eventually unload.
Yeah, they have to. And so it's like a pressure cooker, right? Sometimes you release the little valve to get some of the steam out so it doesn't blow up in your face. But that's where they do.
That's where they force the triggered breakers. They will literally push so much through so fast that they will force a breaker, a low up, low down halt, to suspend any momentum coming in, so they can renegotiate the FOMO buy orders coming in back to the dark pool.
Exactly.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy what we've seen. This is the most documented case of fraud, the longest, most egregious documented case of fraud in the history of the stock market.
I mean, I think this has been the case of fraud for many, many years. We're just now putting light to it.
Yeah, I mean, Adam Aron's interview back in 2019, he's like, we've been the victim of some short selling. He literally saw it happening back then. He talked about it publicly on TV interviews. And his comments during I'm telling you, his comments during the 2022 annual really hit me to the core. When he said, "We're contacting the NYSE about failure to delivers, and we plan to do so again in the future." You can't ever have price discovery if failure to delivers are intentionally placed at certain times to manipulate the price down, so that none of the call options land in the money and you never get any type of gamma. It's what they've been doing the entire time. When you can prove intentional failure to deliver, that's a REG SHO 204 10B21 violation, which is price manipulation, and gets you back to the 1934 Securities Exchange Act. That's where I think Adam Aron is going with this. That's why he said he's going to contact the NYSE again. We should be sitting at a minimum on APE of $8. AMC and APE should have equalized in price 5 days ago. They should be running near the same price. The problem is they can't, because there's not enough APE to match up to every AMC share.
Wow. You know what? Actually, I haven't had it put that way. That makes perfect sense.
Yep. I mean, go back. I got a clip. I'll post the clip. I did post it the other day. where Adam Aron was talking about it. He knows where the problem is. It's failure to deliver swaps. And like you said, it applies right to the options chain. That's why you don't see synthetics out there with a share count, because they're hiding it and loading it all up in the options chain and keeping it on a consistent failure to deliver cycle where they can fail to deliver, cover, fail to deliver, cover. When they got really shook up is when we did no options May on AMC. They had people coming out saying retail left the game because the liquidity ran out of the options chain. It's pretty wild shit. The hell do you want, Sugar?
Hey, man, come on now. How's it going, bro?
Good, man. Just everybody's DMing me nonstop about opening a space call, so I figured I'd do a morning coffee one. Don't plan on going for like 13 hours like usual.
No, but there's a reason why people, when you guys don't do calls, you and Tara and Swing, there's a reason why people miss your calls. Because there's a lot of information, less nonsense, and you stay on the topic, and a lot of people get value out of the calls, and that's one of the reasons, Spence. I don't go in a lot of the calls, and it has become more about clout and less about the community. It's people want to control the calls. If you ask a question that doesn't fit their narrative, you get either kicked out or you get blocked by them. Because God forbid you have a difference of opinion. But you guys have. I started with you guys. And that's one of the reasons when you said, come back, and there were a few of my other friends, I deleted my other account because Twitter got so much toxic for me that, man, I was like, man, this is not what I came here for,
You got to just take that and just throw it aside. Never take social media home with you in IRL, man. You got to, when we're down, people get crazy. And you got to think too, man, these hedge funds want to come in and shake the community up. They want everybody fighting with each other. They want you to get depressed and go away. So
yeah, no, but I appreciate what you guys do, and I am, I never used to be an angry person, and listening in these calls and people, it's like, man, it got so toxic. But I didn't came here for likes and followers, man. I am glad that I have met some of the nicest people from this community, some friends, those who became more like a family, and you, Tara, Swing, PJ, a lot of people, Mike, there's so many people, those who actually care about each other, those who are not just here for a stock, those who actually care about other human beings. And when Adam Aron issues this thing, issues the shares or whatever he does, people have a chance. You can listen to anybody you want to, but at the end of the day, you have to think for yourself. And if people are putting a price target out there, 10,000 a share or whatever, you do what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, if you get left behind, ain't nobody gonna come pay your bills, and nobody's gonna show you your portfolios either. So if we don't just go by the words of a lot of these space call people, a lot of these people are doing, do what's best for you guys. You got a family to feed, you got kids to take care of and other stuff. You're not here to impress and don't, because this stuff's gonna get a lot. Spence, me and you both know a lot of people, those who are thinking 10,000 a share or 50,000 a share or 100,000 a share, and it's gonna get bad for some people. If they let other people think for themselves. So I just want people to get their money, build a beautiful life, and don't let some of these clout and all these people just those who are here just for likes and retweets. Don't let them dictate your life for you or the price for you. do what's best for you. That's that's all I want to say. And I'm gonna step down, brother. But I always have love and respect for you, and I always will.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, you got to do with your money what is best for you and your family. That's for sure. The interesting thing, there's some people on YouTube and a couple people in tweets. They're already spreading FUD about, Adam Aron must have sold shares behind our backs to get us off threshold. I highly, highly doubt that is what happened. AMC would have to file that they did an offering, for one. Two, if anything, it could have been that hedge fund that bought the 24 million shares decided to loan them out to sell to get us off threshold. But I highly doubt Adam Aron put more shares out into the market.
Yeah, that's what some of the articles. That's what some of the articles were trying to insinuate, that Adam sold like $2 billion worth of ape, and that retail bought it up.
I'm pretty sure we would know if AMC sold $2 billion worth of ape, because Adam Aron would be like, I just raised $2 billion. They would have to do filing with the SEC to announce that they put more shares out into the open market. You can't just go out and throw shares into the market without registering them properly in an offering. So we'll know when he sells. He'll come out. All the power is in his pocket right now with this ape. He can come out literally and say, I feel like selling 50 million shares of ape, and start a freaking bidding war over it. Like Pete from Philly was telling me something the other day. He said there's so many people looking to buy ape that need it so bad that he can literally start taking offers in the background for premium prices. Like, yeah, I'll sell you some ape, but I want $10 for it. He doesn't have to sell it at market value.
Did we lose Spence?
Can you guys not hear me? We getting shorted? Can you guys hear me? Guess we're getting shorted. Don, can you hear me? No. PK Lance, if you can hear me, throw up a green heart one more time. Okay. So the listeners can hear me, but the speakers can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. There we go. What's up, Dead Left?
Hey, yo, Spence, thanks for letting me come up here. I've never been on one of your calls before, but it's going well so far. I love it. I just wanted to pop in and say happy fuckery Friday. Are we on the threshold list? Are we not on the threshold list? Who cares? We're going to the fucking moon. So enjoy your Friday, everyone. Have a great weekend. And if they drop us into the red going into close, who cares? We're going to the moon.
Yeah, man, appreciate it. That's the key here is so I just went to REG SHO. Interactive Brokers is now not showing ape on the threshold. So we must have officially came off. They must have corrected that, which is fine. I told everybody, I said, if we come off a threshold, you're going to see some price increase, which we are slowly seeing. But again, we ran to 570. And I think they halted us those days too. We ran to 570 from 460 on September 2nd in a matter of 30 minutes. So I think what we're doing is we're slowly creeping back up to that 570 range to bring in our new bottom, which will be phenomenal. If people are seeing steady price growth in ape, it's going to encourage institutions to want to buy more. Everything's looking good today. People who I normally don't see around like to come up and speak in the calls and drop their opinion and their shout outs and stuff. I'm thinking Soka probably couldn't hear me while he was up as speaker. We must have had some kind of shorting going on. They're naked shorting our fucking call. There he is. What's up, Marquette? What's going on,
buddy?
man?
Hey, where are we at with the Europeans finally getting all their ape issued?
I think from what I read, they still have brokers they cannot buy ape. There's still some people that do not have their ape. Or if they call, their brokers tell them, we know it's not in your account, but if you want to sell your ape, you can do it over the phone, which makes no freaking sense whatsoever. But for a matter of speaking, the 7-day period of the delayed distribution, they managed to make it look like most people in their accounts have everything they need. But I don't think it's accurate. I think there's a big problem. The whole market knows it. Adam Aron knows it. That's the reason why ape was on the threshold list to begin with from day one, because they were failing to deliver for a week. That's why I was telling everybody, hodling your ape for at least 7 days is insanely important, so they can't redistribute shares that are sold out into the open market. But I think the initial distribution, I think Adam Aron got the data he needed on that.
Cool. Thank you.
Like I said, too, that's why ComputerShare doesn't sell ape. They would have to go out and buy it from brokers. When you place an order with ComputerShare, they take it, they go to multiple brokers, and the order is filled or not filled. Here's the issue. If, like I said, if you're a broker that works for a hedge fund, like you're Robinhood, you're owned by Citadel or whatever, you're not going to want to sell ComputerShare ape when it's in high demand, because if it gets DRS'd, then you can't loan it, you can't short it. So it does not surprise me that there's no ability to buy with ComputerShare with ape. I think we saw the mess for what it was. I think everybody saw it firsthand and saw it live. The FTDs piling up was a huge sign. I think you're going to see big time FTDs on AMC for the second half of August, when they took us from 27 down to like 22 or whatever it was. We'll see, though. We are owed some serious price action coming forward. I'll message Tim too, Germany, Tim, and see what.
Nice, thank you. I gotta drop down to hear you.
Oh, there's Tim right there. Awesome. I'm guessing the speakers can't hear me for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
I can hear you. I grabbed my morning coffee next door, came back and reconnected to my Wi-Fi. And when I reconnected, it just couldn't hear your voice, so I just left and came back.
Glad to hear you again.
Yeah. Had to get in the gym and lose a couple pounds, man.
Yeah, I was so exhausted, and I was. It was so hard. It was sometimes 12 hours only to get all the information from all of Europe and so on, and especially the hate you get. I was suddenly in a spotlight, and I never witnessed this thing that maybe you and Tara and so on have every day. But it was the first time that I was sure that I am doing the right thing and a good thing for others. But you get a lot of hate with that, and that is crazy. A thing that I have never witnessed.
When you're over a target, you'll catch flack, buddy.
Yeah.
That means if you're not getting hated on, you're doing the wrong thing. If you're getting hate, you're probably doing the right thing.
Okay. Well, so I was a little quiet the last few days. Had a lot to do in my own company. It's a very great month after some suffering, and I'm happy right now with my own company, and I'm starting to take a look again around Europe, what is going on, and I still know that some people in Austria. I'm from Germany for everybody, and Austria is our neighbor, directly neighbor. And some people in Austria didn't get their apes yet, and very, very, very much people in Europe can't buy them. We can only sell, but that's what you said already, and nothing changed really. It's really we have no chance to get buy power from Europe. One thing is that I have that was very, very strange, is that when we were suspended for a day in trading in Frankfurt, and the other day they told us that every ape that was bought or planned to buy, and every limit order was completely deleted. So everybody who had plans to buy it have to do the purchase again. So it was so strange what happened that day. I don't have any explanation for it.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. The fact that you guys still can't purchase ape. Imagine all the buying pressure that's not being contributed to the market, because in certain countries or on certain platforms, you can't buy ape. This is supposed to be an openly traded security on the New York Stock Exchange, and it's not. That I can't tell you how big of a problem that is, that I'm sure Adam Aron and the lawyers are looking at right freaking now. It's just absolutely insane. Ooh,
our hope is that he was in Europe to take care of some things. I mean, we all know he was on a ship, so on, but he was there a few days before, so maybe he did something. I don't know. It's very. Here in Germany, we are all pretty exhausted, because we all see this threshold thing, and we see that Evergrande was. I don't know how to say it in English. You know what happened to Evergrande Bureau in the headquarters? Someone seized them, I think. And there's and then Europe with inflation and our prices and so on. I think we are in a absolute perfect storm, and I don't think that any storm was like this before. That was not 1929. That was not 1987. I think this is something so big brewing that we are full of fear.
Absolutely. It's pretty coincidental that the overseas countries were having such a bad problem with ape, and Adam Aron decided to visit overseas at that same time. There was multiple people who got arrested, hedge fund guys. Like, there was one dude got arrested in Spain. There's something going on behind the scenes that Adam Aron is a part of that's opening up. You know, the DOJ went pretty quiet on this investigation they were running with the SEC. I think they went into silent running because they actually found what we've all been talking about. I don't put a lot of faith in the SEC or the DOJ finding anything, but look at how many arrests we've had in the past couple months. How many hedge funds have went out of business? It's all there, man. It's the truth is, the saying, when there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire is true. We're seeing it. And the liquidity is drying up so freaking much. There's the only liquidity in the U.S. stock market right now is retail. We're the only ones with actual cash into the market. And little by little, we're buying the entire thing. So I think we'll hear news about Europe and what's going on with ape pretty soon. Adam Aron and AMC should be addressing it anyways.
Absolutely. And the other thing is, we now have this cinema day this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. That's maybe our way to do something good for AMC. It's a UCI in Germany. That is AMC in Europe and in Germany. And we have the chance to, if we not buy ape, we can buy cinema tickets now.
There you go. Yeah, our Cinema Day, National Cinema Day. There was 1.5 million people that ended up going to AMC theaters. It turned out really good. So I hope to see you guys posting some photos and tweeting it out, man. Get it trending that you guys are having your Cinema Day.
That's my next post.
Awesome. By ape still. I'm making a tweet to Adam Aron right now about what you said about Europe. European retail investors still cannot Oh man, my computer. I'm getting a new computer this weekend. Oh my goodness. My keyboard strokes are not keeping up with the timing. European retail investors still cannot buy ape on the open market. What is happening here? So contribute all the buying pressure that we're not getting from other countries that we should be getting on ape. And I guarantee you, we get that $3 back on ape and we match AMC. This is another part of their game. Delay the dividend distribution. Give people the fractional shares, which I'm telling you, fractional shares are a huge problem. If you own a fractional share of ape or AMC, you're sharing that with multiple other retail investors, but your broker holds the rights to that share. They are 100% loaning that out. I think everybody should round off their positions. If you got fractional shares at AMC or ape, you should round them up, which will cost you pennies. Like it literally, buying a quarter of a share of ape or AMC to round your position is going to be the cheapest thing you do all week. But say there's 1 million retail investors who all hold, say, 50% of an ape share. So you're splitting that with another person. That's 500,000 apes that could be sitting at a broker that are being used to take, short the company. Now, the numbers are way off, but you guys get what I mean. If there's that many people holding fractional shares of ape and your broker holds the full share and is allowed to loan it, that's suppressing stock price. Fractional shares should be illegal. I think it's an absolute disaster. Just another mechanism for brokers and market makers and hedge funds to keep shares in their pocket that they give IOUs for. Oh, swing trade. What's up, buddy? You got any only been gone for like a month. I feel like today's a good day for Adam Aron to tweet. I feel like he's going to tweet something. It's going to be awesome. Well, if anybody else doesn't have anything to talk about, I think it was a really good morning call. We're how many minutes into open now? Past 30 minutes into open, I think. Yes, 9:30. Nope, 7 minutes into open. Bad boy. Nice little pop, and we're trending in price line that we were at, so that's good. What's going on, man?
Good. How are you? I called TD yesterday just because I wanted to know about T0 for ape, and they told me that it wasn't. It's an equity and it's T3. Is that true?
The way it's written, the way it's explained in the 8K and how it was registered, it was supposed to be on the NYS or the DTC's, I think, DTCC or the NYSE's T0 platform. Do I believe that? Absolutely not. If it was T0, there wouldn't be failure to delivers.
Right.
So something isn't happening right with this.
Yeah, I believe the same thing because when I asked them, I said, "What do you mean it's not T0?" I called, I called Investor Connect or whatnot, and they told me it was T0. And then he said, "Well, if you call us after you make the trade, we could make it T+0." I said, "What? How the fuck do you do that?" So I just wanted to throw that out there and get you guys' opinion on it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy what's happening. We have people in Europe that can't buy the security. We have people who still don't have the dividend distribution. They delayed it for 7 days. We landed the threshold list within the first freaking 14 days. It's just crazy what's going on. And then the options chain being posted and then being removed from certain brokers. I mean, it's completely obvious that these dudes are trying to fraud the security. And they literally, we ran to $10 and then they knocked the price down to $4.40. I mean, no, I don't think so. Nobody's selling and everybody's trying to buy it and the price action goes down. Not possible. So they're definitely doing something. It's all completely shady.
I can't believe how all this goes on and nobody does a damn thing about it.
Yeah. I think what we're going to see coming pretty soon, just like we've seen in the past with AMC, we're going to have a day where we have an exponential price increase, just like March 29th through the 31st. I mean, the stock ran from like 15 or whatever to 34. They're going to have to unload all this pressure, and you're going to see an opportunity in that when this happens. And I have a good feeling it's coming up pretty soon. I think, like they said, Q3 isn't going to be all that because the box office really didn't have a bunch of great stuff, but they have done things like Cinema Day, and a couple movies hit harder than expected. But when we get into Q4 and the box office returns and we have Avatar, it's going to be one of the biggest quarters ever. Then we roll right into the new revenue streams in 2023. But at some point in time, I think around midterms, more than likely around midterms, you're going to see some type of economic meltdown, some type of market meltdown, because the housing market looks like absolute shit right now. Zillow is posting foreclosure after foreclosure. There's houses around this area in Albuquerque that are $15,000 to literally $100,000 price drops. Everybody is trying to unload everything as fast as they can. So,
yeah, they're trying to get the max price they can before it fucking bubbles.
I think it's already bubbled, man. Yeah, I think it's already popping in certain areas. You and I both know that.
Across the United States, the housing market has already dropped about 40%, and that's before it pops, right? So they said Michael Burry predicted maybe like another 50 to 90% in the markets dropping, right? But that all correlates to what we've been seeing since last year. It's all the House of Cards DD, right? What would cause that to happen, drop 50 to 90%? Well, it's all the hedge funds' fault, right? Because they're super over leveraged. And it takes one big guy, one big broker to get margin called to start the domino effect. So you see Citadel's on a tight pinch right now, right? They just had to, do the sovereignty stuff in Europe, right? They just got sponsored
they had to submit proof of solvency because they unwound a fund, and supposedly they're starting a new fund. But that's what you do when you're underwater.
You close up one name and you open up another name. Yeah. But even though they're still liable for any short positions they have open. All that, they still have to close their short positions. So like I was saying, the House of Cards DD has already proven this. We've been right the whole time. It's just a matter of TikTok. Just patiently waiting. When you can, you buy. And if you can't buy, you hold. That's it.
Yep.
I think those insurance companies as well.
That was a big problem back in 2008 was insurance. I mean, shit.
What did they do in 2008, right? Didn't they appointed the Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae to be on the securities sponsorship on the security board, something like that? Citadel's doing that right now. We're literally repeating history.
Yep.
I don't even know if it's repeating. I think it's the same problem. They just dug the hole deeper, over leveraged even more.
Exactly. And that happened around September 8th or September 9th where they got appointed. Well, Citadel got appointed to the same sponsorship, right? Yeah. Now we're going into September 15th, which, I've been kind of anticipating this week to see what happens. But September 15th of 2008 is when actually everything bubbled. Now, I don't think it's going to happen September 15th, but I think, they're going to try to push it further down the line. But I'm curious to see how much fuckery or how much of the market will drop around the same time 2008 dropped.
That's
I don't
what's
know. This year, because of the midterms and everything, I think they're gonna hold it a little bit longer, and that'll give them a little bit more time because of the holidays and everything. That's my guess, but because it's not politically, it's very politically important for whichever party that you're rooting for. They will go out and vote and all.
Yeah, Biden is facing a possible loss in 24 to Donald Trump. They're already starting the campaign. And the worst thing that can happen during his administration is for the market to collapse, right? Especially when every civilian who's been in this play has been sending emails and everything to their congressmen, sending tweets to him, letting him know what's going on, and nothing's being done.
Yeah, it's a definite playing card for the votes coming up. I was telling people months ago, I said, this is all going to fall apart in November. But the interesting thing, what you said about those dates in September, I think the 19th is when we get our iOwn Ape NFT redeemables. And then T plus 35 on AMC FTDs that started back on...
That's on the 20th.
The 15th. That's the T13 for the threshold, but the T35 AMC FTDs would start hitting on September 30th, which, funny enough, is Adam Aron's birthday.
Oh, man, this guy's diabolical. I see what he's doing. I love it.
His whole focus in the annual was failure to deliver. So he was excited to talk about him.
Thank you. God bless, Bob.
What's up, Swing?
Wasn't on earlier, but care for the broker. IBKR is, as far as I know, available in a lot of countries, and they you should be able to buy Ape with them. So if you don't want to move your shares, I totally get that, but you could also set up an account with IBKR. So if you do want to buy Ape, which in my mind, it makes sense to buy Ape because, it is the same ownership. So anyway, anybody in an international market that isn't able to buy with their broker, I would say look into a broker where you can.
My methodology for the two is AMC is a bunch of C4 and Ape is the detonator.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, that's what was happening with Overstock and OSTKO on the T0 platform. People were buying at a discount OSTKO, and they realized it, and they said, "Man, we're gonna have to convert this because if people keep buying the stock at a discount with the same rights, it's pretty crazy." But Ape right now is cheaper than AMC by almost 20% or more, with the same rights, and it's in higher demand. So Ape is definitely I bought a crap ton of Ape. I'm probably got too much money into it right now, but should be putting money into a house.
Don't worry
Ape is
about
definitely
it.
my choice.
You don't want to put the money into the house right now because, as we both know, it's going to crash. So you're going to be able to get the house on the cheap. Build your empire. Ape is your empire. Then after everything explodes, you'll get whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, I was in the Army for 8 years, man. I'll live in a freaking cardboard box and steal McDonald's Wi-Fi before I fucking sell my
So
Ape.
you'll be fine. You can dig a ditch. No problem.
I can survive, dude. I'll buy a bus.
Yes, sir.
I'm in Albuquerque, man. You can find buses everywhere.
Absolutely.
No, I've got a couple things going where I've got offers in on foreclosures that are already just completely, you're seeing them now 30% under what the market value of the home should have been 2 years ago. So I'm trying to snatch up a couple foreclosures, clean them up real quick, live in it for a year before I start building my house I want. And then I'll just turn around and rent it out to a couple friends I have here that are looking for a house. That there's just people my neighbor girl's got a couple kids. She works, she makes good money. Yeah. She just can't afford to go get a house right now. And they've boosted our rent 50% over the past 2 years.
Yeah. So that's a good strategy. What you're about to do is buy the house and rent it out.
Oh, yeah.
I live in New York City. I live in one of the boroughs here in the Bronx. And what I've noticed in the past 5 to 6 years is that any house within my neighborhood has been bought out, tore down, and tenement buildings have been put up. It's like they've foreseen this coming, right? It's like, all right, we got to buy up anything that's available so people can't own property, right? Because the minute people own property, it's a step forward to financial freedom, right? Your house builds equity. You could take the equity, buy another house, create passive income, rinse and repeat.
Yep. That's what's happening big time out in California and here in Albuquerque. Somebody has bought up everything on the market over the past year. And now that China has had their Evergrande default and their economy's in free fall, all these houses just slammed on the market super quick. I don't know what's going on, if it's Zillow trying to get their money out of it, or if it's these investors that are coming in, buying up all these properties are taking a loss, because now what's happening is the renters they assumed were going to pay them are literally just not paying them. So there was 20 foreclosures that went up yesterday.
Wow. So this reminds me of that big real estate tycoon who bought up a lot of Manhattan, right? When the 2008 crash. I forgot his name. I think it's Zell, right? Z-E-L. The guy bought up a bunch of property in Manhattan and then little by little broke it down in pieces and sold it off and made a fucking killing.
Yeah, I mean, that's coming up really soon. I was telling people a couple weeks ago, I said, right now, you need to be putting cash away and loading up as much as you can and getting your credit fixed so you can come out and buy this property up that you're going to see on a massive discount in the next 6 months. And then, next year sometime, maybe at the end of the year, interest rates start coming back down. You can refinance, get back down to 4 or 3%. And you just bought a house 30, 40% under market value. Another 2 years down the road, you flip it, walk away with 50 to 100 grand, and you feel like a superhero. So, luckily I just sold my house in Michigan about a month ago, and I managed to get 30% over market value for it at the current time. So I'm sitting here trying to be patient, waiting in the next 6 months.
Hey Spence, non-tax advice, but you might want to look into living in the property for 2 years if you can do that, or have the government think that you live there for 2 years, so that if you live there 2 of the last 5 years, then tax basis wise, that's your home. So then you could sell it 5 years from now and not have the same tax hit as if it was a rental property.
Absolutely. My physical address and mailing address will be at the property for a minimum of 2 years. But I also get to homestead with veterans exemption, which is super nice. I've never been more thankful in my life for a benefit. I literally do not have to pay property taxes in certain states. So when I buy this place, I'll have no taxes. I'll stay there for 2 years, clean it up. And 2 years from now will probably be a really good time to sell. I think housing's going to crash, and then you're going to see it shoot right back up really quick. I don't think it's going to be a long drawn out thing like it was in 2008 through 2016. But yeah. Okay, what time is it? That's all I had for the morning. That's about 2 hours, I think, or an hour and a half. I don't want to go for like 2 or 3 hours. I know other people are going to open up spaces. So if anybody's got anything they want to close out with, I want to thank Tim for coming up and giving us an update on the UK. It's super important. I'm getting tweets now that Sweden is also having problems with their ape. Tagged Adam Aron in it, so it's a really good thing to keep up on. Thank Soka for coming up. Soka's got something before we bounce here. Speaker. There he goes. What's up, Soka?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Switched over to my car. I didn't want to end the space. I was driving into work, but I felt it was important. Just remember, the OCC has expanded its liquidity demand on the basis that one of its partners might go into default. So the OCC, the options clearing side of the market, is worried about someone not being able to fulfill their obligations on all the options that they sold into the market. So some market maker is obviously in trouble for them to do that.
Thank you for bringing that up. I can't believe I forgot all about that.
Yeah. We didn't discuss it, but I usually like to let my host take the lead on the topic. It's the polite thing to do, because if you don't, you start getting all over the road. But I just wanted to make sure that we didn't forget that there is light, and like Spence said, shit is happening.
Absolutely, man. That OCC thing is actually really big news, because look at the brokers that tried to put up options chains and then had them taken down, like Robinhood. Well, guess who caused all the problems on January 27th was Robinhood. They had like a massive margin call due that got waived, and it became a huge problem. They took the buy button away. Robinhood tries to put up options chain, and they were actually talking shit all week about 2 weeks ago on Twitter, posting like Ape Strong together and shit. They were getting ready to do the same thing all over again, and somebody said absolutely not. And now we have the OCC saying, hey, we look like we're going to have a liquidity problem with one of our partners. So that's big news.
Yeah, the words in the message were actually, in case of a defaulting partner. That doesn't tell you everything you need to know about one of the idiots that sold all these options and was trying to steal premiums from people for the last 2 years. Oh yeah, just like it was one of those things where, remember, Spence has told everybody no options till November, no options November, and I swear to God, I've still had people. I bought a bunch of weekly options, and I'm like, you fucking people do not. Either you go into the space and just like end up playing a video game or fucking not listening or what. I don't know how you can be that dense that you don't listen, but he makes a ton of sense. Do not buy the weekly options. You are contributing to the fucking hedge funds that are staying afloat. That is the most crazy asinine thing. I understand if you want to buy something a year out, or if you want to buy something 6 months out and be like, hey, you know what? It's not that far out of the money. It's a little bit of money I'm going to throw into an option. I'm going to try and control 100 shares, whatever, if it doesn't play out. But these like lottery ticket things, every week they're re-upping on the fucking Max Payne. And for some reason, people keep throwing money into it. Like, not this week. We're going to fucking get them this week. They're controlling you. They got your shares going in the dark pool. Nothing's hitting the lit exchange. None of the options are being hedged for, meaning they're even though you're buying the option, they know what you're trying to do. You're trying to create gamma. So they don't hedge. That let them buy all the options that they want. Don't hedge for any of it. Everybody just let them fail. Any of it. Everybody just let them fail. That's the market maker strategy. They figure that constant, beating into the head of people that we shouldn't buy weekly options.
I couldn't have said that better myself, man. Appreciate that. The no options May was wildly successful. It was a great push. So we said no options to November because we were figuring out, and you see Skycam7, Joey Cameron posting it every week. They price fix before Friday. They dump the call options out of the money. They steal your premium. then their puts land in the money. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Citadel paid more in payment for order flow for options in 2021 than they did anything else. 80% of payment for order flow is through the options chain. When you buy calls, when retail loads up calls into AMC, Citadel and other market makers pay your broker for that flow to process themselves. That gives them a crystal ball to know where the market's going to go. You'll never get gamma on these plays. They're short because they can see where you are putting your money, and they can place your bet. They can place their bet seconds later, and even that, failure to deliver. Okay, so we see this Friday, let's say there's a ton of options lined up on $10 for AMC. So they make a bull run, they lure people into the weeklies, and then they just fail to deliver. The price goes down, you lose your premium, they get paid your premium, their puts land in the money, then they can come back and they have more liquidity to short the stocks, cover the FTDs at a lower price, and then boom, they start it all over again the next week. If you're selling options, cool, man. If you're selling puts or you're selling covered calls or something and you're making your money good for you, that doesn't affect us as much. But when people come out and consistently push, and it's a lot of YouTubers, man, I'm buying all these call options on AMC and this and this and this, and I sit there and watch them fall out of the money every Friday, it just kills me. So, yeah, it's if you're not buying AMC call options on the weeklies or even further out, that's money the hedge funds don't get. The liquidity they generate is mainly from the options chain. I don't even want to get all worked up about it. It pisses me off to the max.
Well, and there's one thing about buying options when the price was at $30 or $40 or $50 a share, and you wanted to get that leverage. Now with the price being as low as it is, why do it? Like if you have $500 to burn, buy 500 ape shares. It doesn't make sense. The other thing that you can do is to sell puts, which I'm not going to shill that, but that is another bullish option that you can do. But again, like if you're going to sell a put for income, you could also buy the shares on the dip and have the same net effect. So it doesn't that doesn't necessarily make sense, but I definitely if you're not looking at the price action, it's definitely got some bullishness going on. We're about 9.10 on AMC and 5.21 it looks like on APE right now, so in US dollars. So looks like we're making a nice little push.
This could be our price action from coming off threshold, which was what I was telling people for weeks on YouTube. I said, we're either going to hit the 13 days and they're going to be forced to close and you'll see a massive event, or they'll close and you'll see consistent growth, which, I mean, what are we actually up over the past 5 days? I'm on the wrong chart. 8, there we go. 10, 15, 20%, almost 15% over the last 5 days. I'll take it, man. I'll take slow, steady growth. It'll keep more people. Slow, steady growth and price improvement is going to make more people want to invest in the stock because of the stability. So, and everything's green today. GME, BBIG's up 5%. Hycroft's up 4%. Core's 9%. It's looking phenomenal. This is a good day so far. I'm sure some groundbreaking, earth-shattering, universe heat death news will come out and crash the market before the end of the day. I still have my money on aliens, you guys. I still think aliens are going to come out and the market will crash before the end of the year. So taking the power away from these market makers, and the best way to do that is to not engage in any payment for order flow whatsoever. That's where most of their money comes from when when market makers pay brokers for your order flow, it gives them a crystal ball to front run the entire market, to know when to generate FTDs, to know when to cover, to know when to short. They literally have algorithms running this for them based off of the options chain data. So just buying and holding shares, literally, one, you don't lose your premium, but you're keeping the premium and the money they would make on puts away from the brokers. You also take their crystal ball away. I mean, if you were, if Citadel really actually had a crystal ball that could tell them everything that was going to happen in the market and you kept losing your money, would you not want to try to take that away from them? Payment for order flow is banned in other countries for this specific reason. And like I said, intentional failure to delivers under Reg SHO 204 10b21 is a violation of the 1934 Securities Exchange Act, because they manipulate stock prices intentionally through failure to delivers to purposely pull call options out of the money to steal your premium and put. If they do FTD swaps, if that's actually happening, that's why you don't see synthetic shares. I'm still waiting for the NYSE to contact me back on the, or the SEC to contact me back on the defined terms in the jargon they put in that regulation. So will they call me? Probably not. I might have to take a vacation to Miami, meet up with Jackson Hunter, and walk down to the SEC building.
I think he was at in LA. Is where he lives.
Was it LA?
Yeah, I think he went to the LA one.
Oh, that's even closer. I don't know if I want to go to LA though. No offense to anybody in LA. California's not doing that great right now. I hope everybody that's experiencing the wildfires is doing okay though. Man, you know, I forgot to tell everybody what I finally saw on a preview while I was at AMC was the preview for freaking Oppenheimer, man. That movie is going to be sick. I cannot wait to watch it. They filmed the entire thing here in Albuquerque and like 30 minutes away in Los Alamos, so I'm pretty excited to see what goes on. It's about the building of the atomic bomb. Yeah, everything is running. My portfolio is so green. It better freaking stay that way too. Either way, we're up on 2 hours now. I'm going to drop off. I know everybody wants to stay in space calls all day, but I promised myself I wouldn't go over 2 hours anymore. There'll be other calls open. Soka usually hosts them. If anybody has any questions or whatever, you know, just shoot me a DM. I want to thank everybody for coming. Soka, Swing, Tim, everybody for talking today. Much, much appreciated. All right, everybody have a great day, man. Thanks for coming. I'll try to do a couple more of these next week, maybe like Tuesdays and Thursdays or something, and fill that gap, and you guys can quit DMing me saying when space call. So y'all have a great day. Much love. AMC the moon.
And don't forget to go see a movie this weekend.
Fuck. I always forget that. If you have an AMC nearby and you're not going to the movies, or you're not looking at AMC on demand, there's something wrong with you.
Or go buy some popcorn, at least.
Yeah, just drop by and get an AHA from the Coke Freestyle and buy a large bag of popcorn, man.
All right. Everybody, thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe. Again, last month we made about $267, I believe. So AdSense, Google AdSense said on the 26th or 7th, they'll send me the money. I'm going to go out and buy a bunch of digital AMC gift cards. I'll be posting them on Twitter. First come, first serve. First come, first serve. I can't talk today. But I want to thank you all, and I appreciate you for coming into the chat. Sorry I didn't get to a lot of the comments today, but I see you guys all talk to each other in the chat, and that's what I want. I want you guys talking to each other back and forth. It helps build the community. Makes for good conversation, and when I see it and I see what you guys are talking about, it helps me learn too, which I appreciate. Either way, today we're looking beautiful. everything on my watch list is green, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And I do have a play that I'm working on that I will share with you all the day it's launched. I don't want to announce it yet because I want to see it actually come out. And I don't want to cause people to know that we're getting into it. But I do believe it's a big play that I'm going to drop a minimal amount of money on, maybe $5,000 to $1,000 with a 50% stop loss on it on open. It's a minimal risk investment with a very potential maximum gain on it. I will let you know the day that it comes out, and I will tell you if I'm buying or not, and you will see me do it live. I'm pretty excited about it. I'm just waiting for the news to drop saying it's open to trade on the market. Either way, thank you for coming. Please like, subscribe, share the video. Thanks for coming to the first AMC Morning Coffee edition on Twitter Space Calls. Hope you all have a good day.